In this section, we're going to do some advanced concepts using the screen window object. Up until now, we've done all of our examples in context of the main screen, which is set as our base or root screen. But what if we wanted to change the main screen to something else? We'll look at how to change the base screen, and we're going to create an alternate main screen that uses two picture window objects, one for our navigation buttons and one for the screen that we want to view. And we'll use relative paths to allow a button on one screen to change an object on another. So let's get started. So to prepare for this lesson, I need you to build two new screens for the project. One will be called Alt Main, and it's just going to contain two screen window objects. One to show the screens of the project, and another one to show a small navigation window that you're also going to build. The navigation window will just consist of all the same buttons that we have on our current main screen, plus an additional button that just says Back to Main. Finally, on the main screen, you're going to add a button that just says Alt Main. The idea is we will use functions to allow us to switch between these screens in runtime. Afterwards, we'll configure the buttons on your Alt navigation screen to change the screen that is shown by the main picture window. So when you're ready, press pause on this screen and create your Alt navigation and Alt main screens. And then when you're ready, start the video back up. Okay, so if you've completed your Alt main and Alt navigation screens, the next step is going to be creating navigation between main and Alt main. So on the Alt main button that you created on your main screen, let's go to Properties Events, and we're going to use the left mouse button. And we're going to use the same change screen function that we've used before. However, on the screen window path, we're going to use base screen. And all this means is it's going to change the base screen of the project to whatever screen name we give it. And of course, we want to navigate to Alt Main when this button is pressed. Now, go to your Alt navigation screen, and on your Back to Main button, let's do the same thing. Of course, here you're going to choose the main screen as the target. So we'll save the project, and we're going to test this out in runtime. So if we press Alt Main, it's going to change the entire base screen over to our Alt Main. And if we choose our Back to Main, it's going to go back to the main screen. So we've effectively been able to change our base screen. The next task is going to be connecting these navigation buttons, which are on your Alt Nav screen, to change the screen that this picture window is showing, which happens to be on another screen called Alt Main. So let's see how to do that. Before we begin, I need to explain a concept. Here we're looking at the Alt Main screen in runtime. And here's what it looks like in the engineering environment. This screen has two screen window objects. One is our navigation screen, which shows whichever page we've navigated to. Currently it's defaulted to the welcome screen. And the bottom shows our Alt navigation screen, which looks like this. It just has some buttons. So in runtime, it looks like one page, but it's actually 3 pages. We can say that the Alt main screen is the parent of both the Alt navigation screen and our navigation display screen. So going back to the engineering environment, we want to have a button that is on the Alt navigation screen change the picture shown by a screen window object on the Alt main screen. And in order to do this, we're going to use a concept called a relative path. A relative path just means that when we work with an object, we have to tell it the path to get to the target that it wants to change. In this case, the screen window that is on Alt main. So first, we need to know the name of this screen window so that we can reference it. So looking at properties, we can see that the name of the display screen window is called Screen Window Alt Main. And I'm just going to copy this. Now if we go to Alt Navigation and go to our Screen Window button, we'll go to Events. and on our click left mouse button, we can go add our change screen function, and we can just pick the screen we want to navigate to, in this case screen windows. But we can't really use current screen or base screen because we're not looking to change the base screen, and there are no picture windows on the current screen, which is our alt navigation. So in this case, we're going to use a string argument. And here, we're just going to paste in the name of the object that is on alt main called screen window alt main. But that's not enough. We actually have to tell it to go to the parent screen of alt navigation, which is alt main. And we do this just by using 2 dots and a /. So the way that you read this is when the user presses the button, it's telling it to go to the parent of alt navigation, find the screen window object named screen window alt main, and have it display the screen windows screen. So let's try this. We'll hit save and then go to runtime. We'll refresh. We'll navigate to alt main and press our screen windows button, and it in fact navigates. So we'll use this same method to configure our remaining navigation buttons to show the appropriate screen in the screen window that is on our alt main screen. So I'll do the JavaScripting one for you, and I'll leave it to you as an exercise to finish the remaining navigation buttons. So on the JavaScript button, I'll choose add function, and we'll use the change screen function. And for our screen window path, we'll choose screen. And we'll use the relative path parent/screen window alt main. And then we will select the appropriate screen. And that's it. So pause the video, and I'll leave it to you as an exercise to finish the remaining buttons and then test it in runtime. So if you've finished with your exercise, each of these buttons should show the appropriate screen name and the appropriate path / screen window alt main. So we can test this in runtime. We'll go to alt main, and we can now navigate to all of our screens using relative path.